everyone. Welcome to PARM 2223 Advanced Emergency Care Spring 2021 semester. My name is Steve Cole and I'll be your lead instructor for this course. For those who do not know me, I am a full-time training captain and paramedic with Ada County Paramedics in Boise, Idaho, and I've been at Ada County Paramedics for just about 22 years now. In addition to that, I've been a paramedic since 1995, I've been in EMS since 1990, and over the course of those years, I have worked in critical care, fixed wing critical care. I have done military medicine, backcountry rescue, and a few other odds and ends here and there. Regardless of how long I've been in this profession and maybe how long you have yet to go in this profession, I think that you'll find that we'll work very well together and that we'll be learning from each other and progressing through this course collaboratively. Now, I know many of you are just getting back on your feet after the holiday, but please try to log in and review our class as soon as possible. The course will open officially January 10th, but I've gone ahead and opened it a little bit early so you can have access. Please pay particular attention to the general information section of the course page. In this section, you will find the syllabus, you will find the schedule, you will find in the syllabus expectations of performance. You'll find a little written greeting from me. You will also find the discussion board rubric, which will be very important for you to pay attention to, and a few other odds and ends. Please review these carefully because I'll answer a lot of your questions. Now, there is one small problem with the syllabus so far. I know we haven't even started yet and we have a problem. And not all the pages for the readings may be 100% accurate. We transitioned from the 4th edition to the 5th edition. And while I have some of the pages for 5th edition, I don't have them all. And when I get the actual hard copy of the 5th edition to go back and reconcile the syllabus, I will repost it and let you know. Now, also, no surprise, COVID is a thing, the pandemic is a thing. And you may or may not have noticed some substantial changes in the way your paramedic course has been conducted up to this point. The good news is PARM 2223, since I've been teaching it, has originally been developed as a hybrid course. By hybrid, I mean parts of it online, parts of it in person. So the pandemic actually disrupted this particular course very little, and it's fairly well developed. Therefore, I don't believe we'll have huge impacts even if we go into lockdown. So we've got plans for that. However, if unforeseen things happen, new policies come down, whatever they may be, we're paramedics. We deal with the unexpected on a daily basis and laugh about it afterward. We'll deal with this. Now, there are some comments. There was an email that I want to bring your attention to about getting a pre-screening before you return to your in-person classes. I'm sure your other instructors have also touched on that. Please pay attention to that. Get that pre-screening done, and so we all can see each other. Now, this course is 16 weeks long. It's my understanding, and that may change, but it's my understanding we're working through spring break. Not sure exactly why that decision was made, but it was. So, what are we going to do over those 16 weeks? Well, in a nutshell, and the syllabus talks about infrequent patient types and developing appropriate care plans, delving a little bit into interfacility and critical care and some other stuff. Let me give you the real deal. When I graduated my paramedic program, and in 1995, it was a very well-respected unit or college-based paramedic program. It was very well done, but there was a lot that was not covered, and that is true of almost every paramedic program. Whether you're going through a 18-month program, a 12-month program, a 2-year, or even a 4-year degree program, there's a lot that we have to cram into there, and then there's a lot more that we should cram in there that maybe isn't required. The end result is, over the next 5 years after I graduated my paramedic program, there were a lot of things I frequently encountered that I felt, I wish somebody had taught me about this. And back in those days, which was technically not before the internet, but the internet wasn't a huge thing yet, you had to go to these things called libraries and look this stuff up and figure it out. Fortunately, one of my main goals is to take those lessons learned, and that's what we're going to talk about in this course. We're going to hit a lot of the things I wish I had a better knowledge on to better prepare you for your career in paramedicine. Now, we're going to start out in week 1 with just a quick review of stuff you probably are taking for granted, such as NIBP, SpO2, end-tidal CO2. We're also going to talk about, we're also going to review quite a few, things like the shock index, which you may not, or may not have heard of, and a few other things. And the reason we're going to do this is we're going to build on this in the following weeks. By week 2 and moving on, we're going to hit some ventilator management. And again, we're not going to go into, this is going to be a critical care course. That is not what this is. But as I talked about in my written introduction, there's a lot of things that people chalk up to just being critical care, like IV pumps and ventilators, which really are, in our contemporary times, everyday paramedic care, and you need to be familiar with. We hit these kind of complex topics very early on because some of the feedback from the earlier courses indicated that it was useful before you went to your RT rotations. So hopefully these will have the additional benefit of helping you out in your clinicals. Same thing when we talk about tracheostomies. Then we're going to hit vascular access, and we're going to talk about renal failure and dialysis, and we're going to talk about blood product administration. And a lot of this you will have had earlier. Now, there is some benefit, a lot of benefit in reviewing or having material that you cover, having a break, let it percolate in your brain even if you aren't aware of it, and then hitting again, repetition. There's a lot of educational value to that. But we're also going to probably tackle a lot of these topics in a way that's different than you had them earlier. And that will become evident as we progress. My perspective on some things might be a little bit different than Rod's, and so on and so forth. Rod is very, as you well know, is very big on the anatomy and physiology, particularly the physiology of a lot of these topics, and we're certainly going to hit that. But we're also going to hit some of the more practical aspects of it as well. And by the time we get halfway through this and even further, you're going to notice we're going to start delve into some stuff that is kind of a little bit on the cutting edge and bleeding edge of this. When we look at Rogers' early adoption curve, we're going to talk about that. And you're going to see that even if these things aren't in your local agency, whether it be Ada County Paramedics or Idaho Falls or another location, your paramedics in a much larger profession. You need to be aware of where the profession itself is going. And as such, this course will help prepare you for that as well. Now, key to this course, obviously there's a midterm halfway through, and then there is a final exam. Those are huge parts of your grade. Those will be online, unless something changes. But also, we have discussion boards. And students in college have a long history of hating discussion boards. I get that. However, I want to tell you that most of my education was done online. My graduate degree, my undergrad, all online for about 5 years. So what is that? So I have a pretty good understanding of what makes these work and what doesn't. Now I understand that these are work, and I hope you understand that too. So what do I expect? Well, you will have, like most discussion boards, you will have an initial post, and then you will be required to respond to 2 other posts at least, or more, within a certain time frame. So initial responses are due on Thursday at 11:59 Mountain Standard Time or sooner, and your responses to other people in your class are due by Sunday of the same unit at 11:59. Pretty simple, pretty consistent, and it's been my experience that seems to work well with most people's schedules. Now, again, I'm going to reaffirm this. Take a look at the discussion board rubric. It's real easy to get max points unless you don't pay attention to it. And if you don't pay attention to it, you're going to miss stuff. Like one of the things I'm really big on is citations. I expect you to reference outside material, and then provide meaningful citations. Now, why do I say outside material? You have a textbook in front of you. You have Tintelli's, which is an excellent tool. But I want you digging into research. I want you digging into studies. I want you digging into other perspectives. And I want you bringing those back into the class. Both when you discuss with people, when you make a point, hold a position, and when you respond to other people's positions. You are healthcare providers, and healthcare providers are expected to back up their care, treatment, and opinions with evidence. So please, by all means, consider this a primer in that. Now, why do I use discussion boards? Well, if by now you're aware that we have, I think, 3 different campuses with a lot of students, you aren't seeing them all every day. You aren't even probably seeing your students that are at the same campus every day due to this the distance requirements and stuff. So discussion boards are a way to ensure class interaction in a documentable, articulatable fashion. I also believe that they can be useful, to be honest. Now here's the downside. I want to stress this. Something I have had happen in both the previous classes, very early on with discussion boards, is they started to get a little bit personal. Now, I have my opinions on the best way to provide EMS and what the best model is, and you probably do too. And if you don't, you will before too long in EMS. We all come from different models. Some of us work for fire agencies, some of us work for transport agencies, some of us work for private agencies. Some of us haven't worked for an agency at all, and we are the quote-unquote zero to hero crowd. Whatever it is, when you sit in this classroom, whether it be the virtual classroom or the actual classroom, you are partners with the people you are sitting in it with. And while we may take jabs at our partners, we do not attack our partners. So, when you respond, I'm okay with a little bit of humor and levity, but it needs to be appropriate. It needs to be targeted on the topic at hand. And we absolutely will not tolerate personal attacks against your fellow students. We're in this together. We're going down this river together. We're in this boat together. We are in this very noble profession of paramedicine together. We will get each other's backs. Now, I bring this up because it's been a problem before. If I have to have further conversations on this, it'll be a little bit more formal, if you get my drift. So let's not go there. Let's make the most out of this and move on. Now, there's some other quirks coming on this year. You will have to have internet access, both in class and outside of class, to look at the readings, the syllabus. There is a couple of online, what we call SCORM courses we're going to be throwing your way for extra credit, a few other things. So you got to have reliable internet access. If that means coming into school, if that means coming into the station, whatever it is, you're just going to have to do it as part of the class. The workload I expect out of this class, for a class 2 credit class, you can expect between 3 and 6 credits, between 3 and 6 hours a week, give or take. Some weeks that may be more, some weeks that may be a little bit less. That is the nature of education. Now, finally, I'm going to try to do some live sessions each week. Now, these will be optional live sessions. I haven't decided which day they're going to be yet. We're going to talk about that in the first day of class to see if we can come to a consensus on what might work. I'm thinking about either Monday nights or Thursday nights. Now, these will be optional, but the purpose of them will be to give you guys a chance to hit me up outside of class, so to speak, and say, hey, I've got a question about this. Hey, I've got a question about that. Hey, I've had trouble with this. What's the solution? Because if you have a question, 5 other people also have that same question. That's new. We did it a little bit after the pandemic hit, and I'm going to try to do it for you guys again. This time, we just haven't decided on the time. Now, with that in mind, finally, to contact me, please use my ISU email. Now, even if you know me at work and you see me at work and so on and so forth, And I have no problem with you reaching out to me by phone, text, whatever. But keep this in mind. Anything that has to do with the class, in addition to however you reach out to me, I will always ask you to do a redundant email through ISU so we have a paper trail for it. So if you say, hey, Steve, I can't be at class tomorrow because I have a doctor's appointment. Fine. Thanks for the text. It was timely and it gets to me much quicker. But follow it up with an email to the ISU email account. We have to have that redundancy in communication. Keep in mind that I only check my ISU email account about 2 or 3 times a week. Certainly not every day. I've got a work email and I got some other emails I also have to monitor. So sometimes I may not see it. So if it is time sensitive, reach out to me through other means as well. Now, we've covered a lot in the past 15 minutes. So I'll give you guys a chance to go and take a look at the webpage now. And I absolutely hope that in 16 weeks that you will look back on this course and say, this course kicked ass. It was a little bit of work and a lot of fun, and I learned a lot. And I hope we'll be friends at the end of it. Friends in paramedicine. And with that in mind, be safe, and I'll see you out there. Thank you.